Alright, here comes part 20 of my collection update in 2026. Up first we have the Emoji Movie, which includes a short from Hotel Transylvania called Puppy, which the short is G-rated, the Emoji Movie itself is PG. We have TJ Miller, Anna Faris, Jake T. Austin, Jennifer Coolidge, Sir Patrick Stewart, and those are the names that I recognize in here. It's 86 minutes long and came out in 2017. There we go. Next up, we have Encanto. This was a really solid Disney animated movie. Came out in 2022. Is 102 minutes long and is PG. Doesn't have any cast information on the back here. That's irritating. And I need to scooch this up a little bit. That. And there we go. That's good. All right. Next up, we have Enchanted. I haven't been able to get Disenchanted yet, but here is Enchanted. This one has Amy Adams, Patrick Dempsey, James Marsden, and Idina Menzel being the names that I recognize on here. It's 107 minutes long and it is PG. Came out in 2008, and it has a lot of earworm songs. Earworm meaning they're super catchy type songs. Get stuck in your head. Hence earworm, because you have to hear them too. Anyway, the longest time I didn't know what earworm meant. I thought it was like an actual worm instead of just like a song that gets stuck in your head. So anyway, next up we have Eragon right here. This is PG. Came out in 2006 and is 103 minutes long, and it has we got Rachel Weisz and John Malkovich in here. Those are the two names that I recognize, and it's pretty cool. I think I streamed it on Disney Plus one time. Next up we have Escape from Planet Earth right here. This one has Brendan Fraser, Sarah Jessica Parker, William Shatner, Jessica Alba, George Lopez, Jane Lynch, and those are the names that I recognize in here. Or the names of voice characters, and it's PG with a runtime of 89 minutes and came out in looks like 2013. Cool. Next up, we have a Blu-ray Steelbook for E.T. the Extraterrestrial. One of my friends was very annoyed when she found out that was the full title of it. Here's the inside with can't talk for some reason. The iconic bicycle scene. And then E.T.'s ship is on the back of the case there. Yeah. Next up is Rick Steves Europe, all 43 shows from the year 2000 to 2005. 43 complete TV shows on 7 DVDs plus a bonus DVD. And we're gonna have to open these cases up. Or these We're going to have to open both of these to see which ones are included here. And hopefully get runtime information. All right. We'll start with this one. This particular one has 20 episodes plus a bonus DVD. So we have Germany, Swiss Alps, and travel skills, Eastern Europe, and Italy featured here. Does it have runtime information for any of these things on the back here? No. Is runtime information found on the inside? No. Great, but there are some really cool pictures, so I'll show a little at a time there. There's those and those. Cool. And I guess these are actually discs 5 through 8. Which means I should have showed these ones first. Whoops, my bad. Okay, well, here's these ones. Looks like this one covers Great Britain, Ireland, Spain and Portugal, and France and Benelux, I guess. 4 DVDs, 21 episodes plus interviews and outtakes. Still no runtime on these. I guess the runtimes are found on the discs, which is fine and dandy, I guess. Here's what it looks like when you just unfold that, and here's what it looks like when you unfold the entire thing. Very cool. Moving on. Next up, we have a very thin case for Everest, Never Let Go. Looks like I wrote 121 minutes because I had to look it up because it's extremely blurry on the back here. And it's PG-13, but very, very blurry, so I can't really make out a whole lot of other things that are on this case. I need to get a new copy of this that has a legible case, apparently. That's a very thin case. I've seen thin cases before, but I think that's the thinnest one that I have. That or my Blu-ray case for Turbo. Next up, we have a Blu-ray. I also have a DVD, but the cases look the same. They were sold separately for Exodus, Gods and Kings. So I have the DVD and the Blu-ray of it. This is the epic story of Moses. As far as the cast is concerned, we have Christian Bale and Ben Kingsley and Sigourney Weaver. Those are the 3 names that I recognize on here. This is PG-13. Has a runtime of 150 minutes and came out in 2014. Very cool. I haven't seen it, but cool information presented there. I've seen the story of Exodus before in movies, so I imagine it's probably just as good. Next up, I have 2 copies of Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed, and this one was super dry and boring. When I started watching it, I got like 5 minutes in and I was like, okay, this is boring, I'm putting on something else. Ben Stein lent his voice to the Pixies in, or at least one of the Pixies in Fairly Odd Parents. He has a very dry voice that sounds like this. It can be funny sometimes, but he was also in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, according to the back of the case here. This is the only name on here that I recognize. This is PG for 95 minutes worth of runtime. And I'm not sure what. Oh, it came out in 2008, it looks like. Okay, cool. Next up, we have Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close with Sandra Bullock, Tom Hanks, and Jeffrey Wright, John Goodman, Viola Davis, and those are the names I recognize there. It's PG-13. Came out in, looks like 2011, and is 129 minutes long, so just over 2 hours. It's an interesting story. It's set shortly after 9/11, where Tom Hanks' character was killed in the Twin Towers with the events of 9/11. So yeah, interesting story for a very dark time that hopefully never rears its ugly head again. Nothing like that should ever happen again. Next up, we have World War II in color. This is another one of those, I call it a steelbook, but it's a collector's tin. I think, yeah, there's stuff on the inside here to look at in just a second. I want to show off the steelbook. It's a collector's tin thing itself before I do that. And it has stuff all over it. Right there. Here's the back. There's 2 discs. They feature, on disc 1, it's the Battle of Midway, the Memphis Belle with B-E-double-L-E. I'm guessing it's referring to either a person or a beautiful landmark of some sort. And we have Report from the Aleutians and Eyewitnesses to War. It's under E for I. And then we have like the word eyewitness. Then we have disc 2 featuring the Fighting Lady, the 6th Marines at Okinawa, and the Last Bomb. All of it's in color because it says World War II in color right there. And the program runs for 290 minutes. Wow, that's a long one. This came out in, looks like 2007. So yeah, the same information is presented on this little cover thing, but here are the cases themselves. The End of the World War II 60th Anniversary Edition. Each disc is 2 hours and 25 minutes. Okay. Cool. It breaks down the run times of each individual title as well. In the same order that I already mentioned them in, we have 17 minutes and 20 seconds, 41 minutes even, 44 minutes and 10 seconds, 40 minutes and 10 seconds, an hour and 30 seconds, 50 minutes and 20 seconds, and 34 minutes 35 seconds. Nice. Both of these are playable worldwide, which makes them Region 0. I like to call it. And next up, we have Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker. And it's a rom-com. We also have Kathy Bates in here, as well as Bradley Cooper. He's the voice of Rocket Raccoon. Came out in 2006 as PG-13 and 96 minutes long. Cool. Next up, we have Falling in Love Again with Michelle Pfeiffer. And on the front of the case, hers is the only name that I recognize. And that stays true for the back of the case as well. It is PG, 99 minutes long, and came out in 1980, although this particular artwork for the movie came out in 2021, which I think is around when I got it to begin with. So cool. Next up, we have Fantasia Special 60th Anniversary Edition. This is Walt Disney's original uncut version. My favorite short in this is the Sorcerer Mickey. And let's see here. It is 125 minutes in color, rated G. And I'm trying to see when this particular version came out so I can try and deduct 60. And I just realized I forgot to look up when the original Dumbo came out and put it in the description for the next video, or the previous video. But I set that one to premiere tomorrow morning at 8:30, so this one will premiere after that, probably at 8:45 or 9 o'clock. Maybe one of these things has the release here. No, rude. Okay then. I'm not sure why Fantasia and Fantasia 2000's inserts are both in the Fantasia case. I'll fix that. But next up is Fantasia 2000. And this time I have two favorite clips. One is this flower-looking girl here, and then Sorcerer Mickey made a reprisal here. This one, I believe, contrary to the title, I think came out in 1970 or in 1999. I mean, this one's still G-rated though. Okay, so put this back in here, and grab the next stack of movies. Next up, we have Fantastic Mr. Fox with George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Bill Murray, Willem Dafoe, Owen Wilson, and I feel like there was another name on here that I would recognize. Okay, well, this one is PG, 87 minutes long, came out in 2009. And what's funny about this one is instead of swearing, they say cuss in place of the curse words, which I think is something that a lot more movies should do. Looking at you, Deadpool trilogy. But I do love the Deadpool trilogy. I just think it would be cool if it said, I think it would be hilarious if it said cuss instead of actually cursing, you know? I think that'd be a funny edit version to make or something. Next up, we have Fast and Furious 1 through 3. The Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, and the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. That's the first three. All three are PG-13. We have Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, yeah, in the first one from 2001. Then we have Tyrese Gibson, Paul Walker, in the second one. Those are the two names that I recognize. That one came out in 2003. The third one came out in 2006, and don't recognize any of the names on the back of the case for that one. So yeah. Next up, we have Fast and Furious 4 through 6. Oh, I need to plug it in because the battery's low. Please hold. There we go. All right. Next up, with still talking about Fast and Furious 4 through 6. We have their titles are Fast and Furious, not The Fast and the Furious. That's the first one. Fast and Furious is 4. Then Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6. The fourth one has Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Michelle Rodriguez, and those are the names that I recognize there from 2009. The first one I saw is actually number 5, which is kind of funny, I think. The whole Fast and Furious franchise is PG-13, so I don't need to say it every single time. The fifth one added Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to the mix. And Gal Gadot, I think. Came out in 2010. It does have an unrated extended cut. Oh, I need to get the runtimes for these, my bad. The runtimes for the first three in order of 1, 2, and 3 are an hour 47, an hour 48, and an hour 45. And the runtime for 4 here is an hour 47. The theatrical runtime for 5 is 2 hours and 11 minutes. The extended runtime is 2 hours and 12. Wow, they added a whole minute onto it. And then the runtime for 6 is 2 hours and 11 minutes. Much of the returning cast from the previous movies. Adding Luke Evans into here as well. I'm guessing that's the brother of Chris Evans, but I don't know that for a 100% fact. Then I have a DVD-sized Blu-ray case for number 5 and a Blu-ray for number 6. We already talked about those, so although the Blu-ray for this one does have an extended version, which has the same runtime as the theatrical cut. What the heck are they doing with these extended cuts? 5 went from 2 hours and 11 minutes to 2 hours and 12. This one, both the theatrical and the extended cut are both 200 or are both 2 hours and 11 minutes. How is that extended? What the heck? That's hilarious. Okay then. I guess it's extended. Maybe it's a few seconds longer. Who knows? That's just wow. Okay. Funny. Next up, we have Fast and Furious 7 or Furious 7. I think this might have been one of Paul Walker's last movies. That or The Fate and the Furious, because he died in a car crash. Either after this one or in between this and 8, where they had to CGI him in for 9 and 10. But let's see. Other cast information here. Anyone new joining the cast? Nope, the usual suspects. This one is PG-13 again, from 2014 and 2 hours and 18 minutes. All right. Then we have Fast and Furious 8 or The Fate of the Furious. Jason Statham joined the cast this time around, and looks like so did Charlize Theron and Kurt Russell. This one's 2 hours and 16 minutes. Has an extended cut, but it doesn't have the runtime for the extended cut. But I assume it's probably obnoxious like the other two for the extended cut. If I had to guess, I'd say the extended cut's probably 2 hours and 18 minutes, but it doesn't say. That's just a guess. This one came out in 2016, it looks like. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Next up, we have a Blu-ray DVD combo pack for Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Real quick, a quick little side note. I have a 4K for disc for Fast and Furious 1. So I just got to try and find a Blu-ray for that one. I think. Yeah. Anyway, Hobbs and Shaw. This one has 80 minutes of bonus features. And with this one, we have Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, Vanessa Kirby, and Helen Mirren in it. So a lot. So 5 big names there. This one is 2 hours and 17 minutes from 2019. I believe Ryan Reynolds has a cameo as well, if I'm not mistaken. Also PG-13 like the rest of the franchise. Yeah. All right. I want to triple format the entire franchise, if I'm being perfectly honest. Next up, we have F9: The Fast Saga. Dominic Toretto, who's Vin Diesel's character, says, "No one outruns their past." So here's the front of the slipcover and the back of the slipcover. It has this design on the front of the case itself, which I think that looks really cool. Not gonna lie. This one actually has somewhat of a difference between the runtimes of the theatrical and director's cuts. That's interesting. The theatrical cut is 2 hours and 22 minutes, and the director's cut is 2 hours and 29 minutes. This came out in 2020, at the beginning of the hoaxdemic, it looks like. Seeing if there's any other names on here that I recognize that I haven't said for any of their previous installments, and there is John Cena. Great funny guy. I love seeing him in things because he's got some really good comedic chops. For proof, check out Vacation Friends 1 and 2, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, or Peacemaker Season 1, which I've seen the first 3 episodes of. Next up, we have the Collector's Edition DVD of Fast X, aka Fast and Furious 10. And I guess this is just part 1, because Fast X Part 2 comes out soon. I think either near the end of this year or next year. This one adds Jason Momoa into the mix with Brie Larson as well, it looks like. Let's see. Still PG-13. Big shock. PG-13 franchise has a PG-13 as in its 10th entry. Let's see. 2 hours and 20 minutes, and came out in 2023. Still PG-13. All right. Next up, we have Father of the Bride 1 and Part 2, with Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, and Martin Short in both of them. Right here. Who else is in these that I would recognize the names of? Just those 3 for the first one. And for the second one here, same story. Okay. They are both PG. And the first one is 105 minutes, the second one's 106 minutes. Trying to see when they both came out. I do not see release years, so interesting. Okay, but I think they might be on Disney Plus, so I could check the release years on there at some point. Then next up we have Ferdinand right here. I don't recognize any of the names listed on the back of the case here, but we have a 2017 release year, a PG rating, and an hour or 108 minutes. Not an hour and 8, 108. And here's the back of the case there. Next up, we have a 3-movie John Hughes collection with Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is where I have this sorted under. Some Kind of Wonderful and Pretty in Pink. Alright. There's that. We'll talk about Ferris Bueller's Day Off in a second with the Blu-ray that I have. So we'll skip down to the other two here. Pretty in Pink has James Spader in it. He was the voice of Ultron. This one came out in 1986, so it predates Age of Ultron by a lot. And it's 96 minutes long and PG-13. All three of these are PG-13. Yeah, James Spader's the only name that I recognize on the back of the case for Pretty in Pink. For Some Kind of Wonderful, it came out in 1987, is 94 minutes long and also PG-13. And as far as the cast is concerned, I recognize none of these names, so that's cool. I'm pretty sure I've seen all three of these. They're all pretty good. Ferris Bueller easily takes the cake for me because it's hilarious. It gets referenced in Spider-Man: Homecoming and Deadpool. Yeah. Here's the Blu-ray Bueller edition. Bueller. Yeah, Matthew Broderick in here, and I don't remember this guy's name, but apparently he's a really crummy person in real life. But hilarious, great movie. This one came out in 1986, is 102 minutes, and like I mentioned previously, it is PG-13. Very, very good movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Next up, we have the 40th anniversary edition Blu-ray DVD combo for Fiddler on the Roof, right here. Looks like it's rated G from 1971 and is 181 minutes. That's just over 3 hours. Wow. Okay then. The Blu-ray has a bunch of extra bonus features in addition to the movie itself. The DVD has a few bonus features in the movie itself. So, yeah, nice. I'll have to give this a watch. I'm unfamiliar with that story. Like, I'm aware of its existence, but I've never actually seen it. One I have seen, however, is The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis and Milla Jovovich and Gary Oldman. Came out in 1997, is PG-13, with a runtime of 125 minutes, and it's a fun time. It's a fun sci-fi movie. Very cool. Set in the 23rd century, so yeah. Very cool. Next up are 4 Hallmark movies, which are filed under Fielder's Choice. The other 3 titles are Ordinary Miracles, Thicker Than Water, and Angel in the Family. Let's see. From top to bottom on here, Thicker Than Water is not rated. 87 minutes long in color. I don't recognize any of the 3 names that are listed in the starring section there. There's a little bit more information down below, but I don't recognize any of the names there either. With Angel in the Family, I don't recognize any of the names there either, but it is also not rated in 88 minutes in color. Looks like they're all in color. Okay. Ordinary Miracles is not rated as well, but has a content advisory for violence and is 85 minutes long. I don't know when any of these came out, but this particular collection came out in 2009. And Fielder's Choice is also not rated in 85 minutes long. Combined, they're all 345 minutes total. No sort of insert there. So moving on. Next up is a 5-movie collection with Undercover Angel, Solomon's Choice, Fielder's Choice again, Where There's a Will, and Out of the Woods. So yeah, in the same order I just listed them off here. Undercover Angel is rated PG for mild thematic elements. James Earl Jones is in it. He is the voice of Darth Vader, in case you're unaware for some reason. Not sure how you could be, but just in case. James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader, and it's 92 minutes in color. Solomon's Choice has Reese Witherspoon in it. It is not rated and is 92 minutes long in color. Fielder's Choice we already talked about, but it's 85 minutes and not rated. Where There's a Will is not rated and 84 minutes long. Do I recognize any of the names listed here? Nope, sure don't. And then Out of the Woods is not rated and 87 minutes long from 2004, it looks like. And I don't recognize any of those names either. This particular collection came out in 2014 and is 440 minutes total. All of it is in color. Cool. The last case for this particular video is The Final Cut with Jim Caviezel and Robin Williams. Both have played a number of iconic roles, and for Robin Williams here, two of his most iconic roles, in my mind at least, are actually 3. His character in the original Jumanji. I don't remember what his character's name was, but I remember it was played by Robin Williams, and he did a remarkable job. And he played Peter Pan as an adult in Hook, like a grown-up version of Peter Pan. And he was also the voice of the genie in the OG Aladdin. And I think he reprised his role in Return of Jafar, but I think they had a different voice for Genie in King of Thieves. Who else is in this with them? Jim Caviezel has played Jesus in a lot of projects. This came out in 2004, is 105 minutes long, and PG-13. Cool. Alright. That is it for this particular video, and for the night, because it's almost 10 o'clock here on Easter Sunday 2026. 4/5/26. So yeah, I'm gonna set this one to premiere at 9 in the morning tomorrow, so it will no longer be Easter by the time this video comes out, but hopefully you had a good Easter, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.